happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. You guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely gonna want to check this one out. So we're now seeing that Representative LaMonica McIver is quickly finding out that she's gotten herself into more trouble than she initially bargained for. She's now facing expulsion from Congress in addition to the charges that she's already been slapped with. I'm excited to get into it, see what's going on there, guys. So we're gonna hop straight into it. All I ask that you please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, let's get straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
I want to be clear that LaMonica McIver was never taken into custody, and she remains free on her own reconnaissance tonight, ordered so by that judge in connection with the charges on what happened here outside this detention center earlier this month. As you said, it was a virtual hearing. Reporters watching in court on a monitor with she and her attorneys on the monitor, the judge in the courtroom as she was read her rights and read the charges that she now faces in connection with that incident. The only thing she said in court was to the judge, "Yes, Your Honor," but on MSNBC this morning, she had much more to say.
Well, I think, one, this is political intimidation from the Trump administration. I mean, me being charged is absurd, you know, especially when I'm just there to do my job. The confusion and the chaos that you see was caused by ICE officials and Homeland Security. They created this unnecessary situation by arresting the mayor.
All right, you guys, so there has been tons of controversy talk behind this one. We're now seeing that LaMonica McIver is using the typical Democratic response defense, saying that it's not her fault, but it's the other party's fault, saying that it's the ICE detention facility, the ICE officials. It's all their fault that this turned into what it had turned into. We could clearly see her in all the footage, pushing, shoving, trying to fight her way through it, but now it just leaves the question of what it's going to be. The charges, we're now seeing expulsion from Congress may be on the table as well. Let's check it out. We're gonna get a list of the charges that she could potentially face.
And as you can see behind me, those protests continue. They have been out here virtually every day since this detention center opened. McIver, meanwhile, faces a maximum of 8 years in prison if, in fact, she is indicted and then convicted on these charges. There are 2 counts each, as I said, of assault, impeding an officer, and she is back in court on June 11th for a preliminary hearing that the judge insisted will be in person. Reporting live from Newark, I'm Pat Battle, News for New York, turning it back over to you.
Wow, guys, so we're now getting word that LaMonica McIver is facing up to 8 years federal prison for her actions on that day. I mean, she may feel like her defense is that this is all political or they're only coming after her because she's on the side of the Democrats, but we can see clearly there's 4K footage of her pushing and shoving, also assaulting these ICE officials. I think they also said they have body cam footage of her body slamming officers as well, or officials, I should say, officials as well. And I know you guys are probably wondering, well, Retro, where is this expulsion that you keep speaking about? Let's check that out. We actually got Representative Nancy Mace coming out with that one. All right, you guys, so here we go. This is a tweet coming out from Representative Nancy Mace saying, breaking, we just filed an official resolution to expel LaMonica McIver from the U.S. House of Representatives. No one is above the law. Assault is a crime. The American people deserve better. We can see it here, the official resolution documents. She's not messing around. I mean, and we shouldn't be messing around when it comes to this, because this is a serious matter. You got to think we have to set the tone, the dynamic for these folks on the left, because these loonies, they think they could get away. They can say, they can do whatever they want with any kind of consequences, repercussions for their actions. That has to stop here. The quicker we start holding them accountable, holding them to the actions that they have committed, the fouls, the quicker they'll stop doing it. It'll set the tone, and it set an example for these folks that are on the left that are thinking maybe I should do this too because they did it and got away with it. If we stop letting them get away with it, folks will see, okay, well, Representative LaMonica McIver is no longer a representative in the U.S. House of Representatives because of her actions at that ICE detention facility. Also, she's been serving, 7-year sentence in prison. We probably shouldn't be trying to break into and assault ICE officials at that detention facility. It'll just set the tone. going forward. And I think that is what the Trump administration is trying to do right here. And of course, we got our lovely border czar, Tom Homan, weighing in on the whole situation. You have to remember that he is the top officer type official when it comes to deportation across our nation. Let's check out what Mr. Tom Homan had to say.
Joining us now is Tom Homan, border czar for the Trump administration. Thank you for being here. You just heard the Congresswoman. She says she was there to do her job, congressional oversight, and that these charges amount to political intimidation. In a statement, she also said it was ICE agents who created an unnecessary and unsafe confrontation. Do you believe that they could have unnecessarily escalated the situation, given that members of Congress have a right to be there and to go in?
Well, look, they have a right to be there for oversight, but there's a proper way to do it. Forcing your way in the facility, putting hands on an ICE officer is not the way to do it. So I think she was out of line. I've seen the videotape. I've seen 6 or 7 different videotapes that show her acting unprofessionally. These are the same people who, for 4 years, is saying President Trump wasn't above the law. Well, either is she. There's a line you can't cross, and I think she crossed it. Now, I'll leave it up to the Alina Habba, the prosecutor who's handling this case, to prove the case, but the video makes it clear to me that she wasn't being professional that day. She certainly didn't act like a member of Congress. She certainly could have requested a tour. They give tours all the time, and if she got the tour, and many people have had the tour since, they've seen a grade A facility, the highest detention standards in the industry, that puts to shame any facility, county or state, that New Jersey has. So it was. I think it was politics over public safety. That's a facility where the worst of the worst are housed. We can't lose control of that facility. But her actions cause a ruckus at that facility and makes that facility unsafe.
Did she cause the ruckus, though? Because you acknowledge that she has a right to be there. You put out the administration put out a document back in February saying members of Congress will be allowed to go in. They said that they had to wait for hours. And I want to ask you about the word that you've very carefully used, which is unprofessional. Even if you believe she was unprofessional, did you see something in that tape that suggested she was criminal? Is there a tape that we haven't seen? Because the charging documents suggest that she somehow assaulted 2 of the ICE agents there. I did not see that in that tape.
Well, I've seen tapes where she has made body contact with ICE officers and pushing them. I mean, there's a lot of tapes out there. I mean, there's numerous tapes.
In a scuffle, is it normal that people would make body contact, though, Mr. Homan?
Bottom line is, you say she has a right to do her oversight, but there's a right way to do it. Forcing yourself through officers to get in that facility is not the way to do it. We have many Congress visit our facilities. What she did was unprofessional.
Do you believe that she was a threat?
I believe she caused the facility to be unsafe. When ICE officers are being pulled off their duties to deal with a member of Congress who's forced away in the facility and puts her hands on an ICE officer is unprofessional. I think she crossed the line. Again, I'm not the prosecutor. I don't have to prove it in the court, but the video I saw shows her at fault.
If she was in some way dangerous, if she caused the facility to be unsafe, why would they ultimately let her in?
They didn't allow her in. If in that moment she forced her way in, then they dealt with it from then on. Look, the ICE officer, and this is the same week where we're here in D.C. honoring the men and women of law enforcement who made the ultimate sacrifice. I went to Border Patrol Memorial. I went to the ICE Memorial.
I just want to clarify something you said. She did go in, Mr. Homan. She did go in.
The men and women law enforcement. The same week we honored the men and women law enforcement, she's up there putting her hands on them. So she's being held accountable. She should be held.
But you acknowledge she did go into the facility. So why would she be let in?
Look,
if she was a danger?
Look, I wasn't there. I'm just telling you what I've learned through my sources and from the videotapes I saw, that she forced her way in the facility. There's a difference between oversight responsibility, working, arranging with ICE to go do a safe and secure tour of a facility where criminals are locked up, criminals are walking the hallways, and forcing your way in the facility. It should have been done more professionally, and I'll let the courts decide if she's in violation of law. But the videos I saw, she could have been a hell of a lot more professional on that day.
And you believe the ICE agents were professional?
I believe so, yes.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness. Now we're seeing expulsion being thrown onto the table with that newest House resolution coming from Representative Nancy Mace. And honestly, this is all deserved. You hear those loonies on the left, legacy media outlets. We just heard MSNBC trying to push the narrative to say, I didn't see anything worth, a assault or anything criminal. This was definitely criminal in nature. I just always compare it to, what if this were you or I? What if this were you and me that tried to jump into or break into this ICE detention facility? What were they going to do to us? What if we were just simply pushing and shoving ICE officials? You're getting your hands tossed behind your back. You're getting booked and fingerprinted without even any question. That's how I feel. So for them to come out and say that this is not criminal, or she should not be being held accountable for this, it almost feels like a slap in the face to the average everyday U.S. citizen. You're telling me that they're living on a whole different code or set of standards. The laws that we have to abide by don't apply to these folks in Congress or representatives like LaMonica McIver. Doesn't make any sense to me, and that's the point that I'm trying to get across here. And I feel like we're hearing the Trump administration also putting their foot down when it comes to these types of situations, because we have to send a message over to the loonies on the left who truly believe. We're seeing a lot of them nowadays. They'll do whatever, they'll say whatever, and think that they're not going to be held accountable. They're not going to face any consequence or penalty for their actions. We have to draw the line and stop that right here, or else they're going to continue to do the same thing they're doing, and it's only going to amplify, and things are going to get worse. People are going to get hurt. This is definitely an unsafe situation for both the ICE officials and the folks trying to break into this ICE detention facility. Like Tom Homan underlined that point right there where he said there's criminals. I mean, these folks that are inside these ICE detention facility are criminals, and they're walking the hallways, yet you're outside causing a full ruckus trying to break into there. You don't know if you actually did break in and got in there. You don't know what type of conditions, who's in the hallways, what they could potentially do. So we have to address situations like this when they come up. And I'm so glad we're seeing LaMonica McIver being held accountable to the fullest extent. We're seeing those charges coming down the pipeline. Looks like she's facing up to 8 years in federal prison, as well as we're now seeing that she could be expelled or moved from Congress completely. That ought to send a message out there to those loonies on the left, guys. But definitely hop in the comment section. Excited to hear what you guys are thinking. Comment section is open. Hop in there, drop your thoughts. Also, make sure you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you'd enjoy more content like this. Catch you guys on the next one.